Linda sat in her glass office high above the city. She had built her company from the ground up, and she had money, power, and respect. Yet something inside her felt empty. Her daughter Lily was growing older, and Linda worried that the girl had no father to guide her. People in her circle often whispered that a child needed a complete family. Linda began to believe that finding a husband would fix everything. One evening, Linda called Lily into the room. The little girl sat on the leather chair across from her mother, swinging her legs. Linda looked at her daughter and said she wanted Lily to help choose a new father. Lily tilted her head, unsure of what her mother meant. Linda explained that she had invited 3 successful men into their lives. Each man was rich, powerful, and well-respected. She believed one of them could become the right husband for her and the right father for Lily. Linda spoke with confidence, as if she were presenting a business plan. She described Victor, a banker with tall stature and a commanding voice. He had a mansion and spoke about money as if it grew on trees. Then she spoke about Charles, a lawyer with sharp suits and polished shoes. He smiled a lot, but his eyes carried no warmth. Finally, she described Peter, an investor who loved to talk about deals and numbers. All 3 men could offer security and wealth. Linda thought that with one of them at her side, Lily's future would be bright. Lily listened quietly, but her young heart did not stir with excitement. No words about money and power did not touch her. She remembered times at school when she had wished for someone to sit in the stands and cheer for her.
Ow.
She wanted laughter at dinner, stories before bed, and someone who cared when she felt sad. She did not know if any of these rich men could give her that. Later that week, the men visited their home one by one. Victor brought gifts wrapped in gold paper. He patted Lily on the head and quickly turned back to speak with Linda about business. Charles smiled at Lily, but spent most of the time talking about his cases and how many people admired him. Peter handed Lily an expensive doll, but then checked his watch again and again, as if he wished to be somewhere else. Lily thanked them, but felt no warmth in her chest. At dinner, Linda asked her daughter what she thought of the men. Lily looked down at her plate and mumbled that they were fine. Linda reminded her how each of them could give her a grand life. Lily nodded, but she felt a small ache in her heart. She could not explain it in words, but she knew what she wanted was different. The next day, Lily wandered through the company building, while her mother sat in a meeting. She skipped down the long hallways until she reached a quiet corner, where a man in overalls was fixing a broken light. He turned and smiled at her. His name was Ethan, and he was the janitor of the building. He did not look powerful or rich, but there was a calm kindness in his eyes. Lily stopped and watched him as he worked. He asked her name, and she told him. Instead of rushing back to his task, he sat on the step and listened to her talk about school and her favorite games. For the first time, Lily felt seen. Ethan laughed at her jokes and told her about his daughter Mia, who was the same age as her. His voice was gentle and honest. Lily felt something stirred deep inside her, a pull that felt stronger than the glitter of gifts or the shine of fancy suits. She did not understand it fully, but in her young heart she knew she wanted to see him again. When her mother returned, Lily said nothing about the meeting with Ethan. She kept it close to her chest, like a secret treasure. But her heart whispered to her that the choice her mother wanted might not be the choice she would make. The week passed quickly, and Linda continued to invite the 3 wealthy men into her home. She hosted dinners where the table was filled with fine dishes and expensive wine. She smiled as the men spoke about their travels, their money, and their future plans. Lily sat quietly beside her mother, pushing food around her plate. The men hardly noticed her. Victor laughed loudly as he bragged about the size of his mansion. Charles spoke about winning cases in court, never stopping to ask Lily about her day. Peter took phone calls in the middle of dinner, excusing himself with a grin but never looking at Lily. Linda watched all this and tried to convince herself that these men were perfect choices. They had the wealth and influence to give Lily a life without limits. But when she looked at her daughter, she saw the distance in her eyes. Lily did not smile. She did not ask questions. She did not seem happy. Linda pushed the thought aside, telling herself that children did not always understand what was best for them. The following afternoon, Lily walked through the company building again. She carried a small notebook where she liked to draw pictures. In a corner near the storage room, she found Ethan again. He was fixing a broken chair and whistling softly. When he saw her, his face lit up. He asked about her day at school, and she quickly began to share stories about her teacher and her friends. Ethan listened as if every word mattered. He showed her how to tighten a bolt with a simple tool and let her try it herself. She laughed when the chair wobbled, and he caught it before it tipped over. Lily felt safe around him. She noticed that Ethan never hurried her, never looked away, and never made her feel small. Instead, he listened with patience and kindness. Soon, she began to visit him every day after school. Sometimes they talked, sometimes they fixed small things together, and sometimes they just shared quiet moments. Ethan told her more about his daughter Mia. He said she liked to draw too, and often filled notebooks with pictures of animals. Lily grew excited and said she wanted to meet her. One evening after leaving Ethan, Lily told her mother she wanted to invite Mia over to play. Linda raised an eyebrow, surprised that her daughter was talking about the janitor's child. She dismissed the idea quickly, saying she had arranged another dinner with the rich men. Lily's face fell, but she said nothing more. The dinner that night was no different from the others. Victor brought another flashy gift, a golden bracelet far too big for Lily's wrist. Charles gave her a book about law that she could not understand. Peter handed her a toy but kept looking at his phone. Lily forced a smile, but her eyes wandered toward the door, wishing she were somewhere else. After the men left, Linda asked Lily which one she liked best. Lily stayed silent for a long moment. Then she whispered that she did not like any of them. Linda frowned and told her she must choose one because they could give her a future filled with comfort and security. Lily looked up at her mother and said softly that comfort and security did not matter if there was no love. Linda froze, shocked to hear such words from her young daughter. Later that night, Lily lay awake in bed, clutching her notebook. She drew a picture of a family: a mother, a daughter, and a man holding their hands. The man was not Victor or Charles or Peter. He was Ethan, the janitor who listened and cared. She did not understand why her heart chose him, but she felt a strong pull as if an invisible string tied them together. She closed her eyes and made a quiet promise to herself. No matter what her mother said, she knew who she wanted to be her new father. Days turned into weeks, and Lily's visits to Ethan became the best part of her routine. Every time she saw him, her face lit up. They would sit together in the quiet corners of the building, where no one paid attention. He showed her how to repair broken chairs, replace light bulbs, and even clean old clocks that no longer ticked. Lily loved learning from him, not because the tasks were grand, but because Ethan treated her with patience and respect. He never brushed her aside, and he never acted as if she was a burden. One Friday afternoon, Ethan brought his daughter Mia to the building after school. Lily's eyes widened with joy when she saw a girl her own age step forward. Mia had bright eyes and a warm smile. The two girls became friends instantly. They sat together, drawing in Lily's notebook, sharing stories and laughter. Ethan watched them with a soft smile, as if seeing a piece of his life finally brighten again. His wife had passed years ago, and he had raised Mia alone with little money, but endless love. As Lily spent more time with Ethan and Mia, she began to feel something she had never felt before. It was a sense of belonging. Ethan spoke to her the way a real father might. He asked about her dreams and told her that she could achieve anything with hard work and kindness. When she scraped her knee one day while playing, Ethan quickly cleaned the wound and told her it would heal fast. His voice was steady, his hands careful, and Lily felt safe. Linda started to notice her daughter's change. Lily smiled more when she spoke about her day, but the names that came up were not Victor, Charles, or Peter. Instead, Lily spoke of Ethan and Mia. Linda grew uneasy. She had not worked so hard in life to see her daughter attach herself to someone with no wealth or standing. Linda confronted Lily one evening after dinner. She asked why she never spoke about the three men she had invited into their lives. Lily looked her mother in the eye and told her the truth. She said that those men cared only for themselves, while Ethan cared for her. Linda's anger rose. She told her daughter that a janitor could not give her the life she deserved. She said a man who struggled with bills could never stand as her father. Lily did not back down. She said that money and gifts did not matter if the person giving them did not care. She told her mother that when she was with Ethan, she felt loved, and when she was with the rich men, she felt invisible. The argument shook Linda, but she refused to give in. She told Lily that she was too young to understand and that she, as her mother, knew best. She promised that soon Lily would see the wisdom in her choice. Lily went to bed that night with tears in her eyes. She held her notebook and drew again. This time she sketched two girls holding hands, with Ethan standing close by, smiling at them both. She pressed the page to her chest, wishing her mother could feel the same pull she felt inside. At the company the next day, Victor, Charles, and Peter noticed how Lily never paid them much attention. They began to grow restless. Each one wanted to win over the CEO, but they knew they could not reach her heart without Lily's approval. They tried harder, bringing bigger gifts and speaking more loudly, but it only pushed Lily further away. Her eyes always wandered toward the hall, hoping she would catch a glimpse of Ethan or hear the familiar laughter of Mia. While the rich men grew impatient, Ethan remained the same. He did not chase or beg for attention, he simply cared in quiet ways. And because of that, the bond between him, Mia, and Lily grew stronger every day. Lily felt certain now. Her choice was made, and no one could shake it from her heart. The weeks grew tense as Linda tried to push her daughter toward the three rich men. She arranged outings and dinners, hoping Lily would soften. Victor took them to his mansion, showing them endless rooms filled with art and gold. Charles invited them to a theater, speaking through the show about the power of law. Peter showed them a luxury car collection and bragged about deals he had closed. Lily listened politely, but her heart remained quiet. She felt no warmth in those places, no comfort in those voices. Lily waited for chances to see Ethan instead. She sneaked away in the afternoons, meeting him in quiet corners of the building. Sometimes Mia came too, and the three of them would laugh together. Ethan taught them small lessons about fixing things and about life. He told them that true strength came from kindness and patience, not from money. Lily carried his words in her heart like hidden treasures. One rainy evening, Linda called a meeting with Victor, Charles, and Peter. She told them she was ready to decide, but first Lily needed to show clear interest. The men grew restless, each one determined to prove himself. They agreed to plan small events where they could impress both mother and daughter. They believed Lily would eventually give in to their wealth and charm. That same week, an accident struck the company building. Short circuit caused smoke to spread through the lower floors. Alarms rang, and people rushed out in panic. Lily had been wandering the hallways after school, waiting for her mother to finish a meeting. Trapped in the haze, she coughed and stumbled, unable to find the exit. Fear gripped her small heart as the smoke thickened. Ethan, who had been working in a nearby storage room, heard her cries. Without hesitation, he grabbed a wet cloth and rushed toward the danger. He found Lily huddled near the wall, tears streaking her face. He wrapped the cloth around her mouth and held her close, guiding her through the dark hallways toward safety. Sparks fell, and the ceiling groaned, but he shielded her with his body and pushed forward. Outside, Linda and the three wealthy men stood among the crowd, watching the smoke. When Ethan emerged, carrying Lily in his arms, covered in ash but safe, Linda gasped. The rich men looked stunned, but said nothing. Ethan placed Lily on the ground, kneeling beside her as she clung to him, sobbing into his shoulder. He whispered that she was safe now, that nothing would harm her as long as he was there. Linda rushed to her daughter, but Lily held tightly to Ethan's arm. She cried out that he had saved her, that he had been the one who truly cared. The crowd around them murmured, watching as the young girl chose the janitor over the wealthy men. Linda felt her heart twist in ways she had not expected. The image of Ethan carrying her daughter burned into her mind. That night, back at home, Linda sat in silence. Lily clutched her notebook and told her mother once more that she wanted Ethan to be her father. She spoke with more courage now, telling her mother that he had risked everything for her without thinking of himself. Linda struggled with the weight of her own thoughts. For years she had believed that power and money built security. Now she was faced with the truth that love and sacrifice mattered more than gold and mansions. The three wealthy men tried again in the following days, but their words rang empty. They had not run into the smoke. They had not carried Lily to safety. Lily refused their gifts and turned her face away. Her heart was set, and nothing could break the bond she felt with Ethan. The choice had been tested in fire and fear, and it held strong. Days passed after the fire, but the memory stayed fresh in Linda's mind. She could not forget the sight of Ethan carrying her daughter through smoke and sparks. She had built her life on deals and contracts, but she knew none of those men she had chosen would have risked themselves the way Ethan had. She saw how Lily looked at him, not with fear or doubt, but with trust and love. That look told her everything she had been blind to see. Lily no longer hid her feelings. She spoke openly about Ethan and Mia, telling her mother how much she wanted them to be part of their family. She told Linda that she did not care about mansions or expensive gifts. She wanted a father who listened, who cared, and who would stand by her side. Every word from her daughter's mouth felt like a lesson Linda had refused to learn. One evening, Linda called Ethan to her office. He entered quietly, unsure why he had been summoned. She studied him for a long moment. He stood humbly, his hands rough from work, his clothes simple. Yet there was a strength in his eyes she had not seen in any of the rich men. Linda asked why he had risked his life for her daughter. Ethan replied with steady words. He said any parent would have done the same, and though Lily was not his blood, in that moment she was a child who needed him. He said that love did not ask for permission or status, it simply acted. Out. Those words struck deep. Out. Linda felt her walls weaken. She had chased power for so long, thinking it would keep her safe. But in front of her stood a man who had nothing yet gave everything. She realized that real strength was not measured in wealth but in heart. She dismissed him for the night, but could not shake the truth of his words. The next weekend, Lily invited Mia over to their home. Linda watched the two girls play together, their laughter filling the halls. Teza arrived later to pick his daughter up. Linda stood in the doorway watching as Lily hugged him tightly, as if afraid to let go. Something inside Linda shifted. She saw the picture not as a CEO, but as a mother. As a mother, she knew her daughter had already made her choice. When Victor, Charles, and Peter returned to press their suit, Linda finally spoke with clarity. Gosh. She told them that wealth and charm could not buy love. Yes. She thanked them for their interest, but said her decision was made. The men left in silence, some in anger, some in disbelief. Linda felt a weight lift from her shoulders as the door closed behind them. That night, Linda sat with Lily and Ethan in the living room. She looked at them both and spoke with honesty. She admitted she had been wrong to put money before love. She said she now saw that what mattered most was the bond between people, the soul strings that tied them together. Lily's eyes shone with happiness as she leaned against Ethan, holding his hand without fear. Over the following months, the two families slowly grew together. Ethan and Mia became a constant part of their lives. Dinners were no longer quiet and cold, but filled with laughter and warmth. Ethan helped Lily with her school projects, while Linda and Mia cooked in the kitchen. There were no golden mansions, but there was joy in the small things, and joy was what Lily had wanted all along. In time, Linda and Ethan grew closer, bound not by wealth, but by the love they both carried for their daughters. What had begun as the CEO's plan turned into something she never expected. The empire she had built stood strong, but the family she gained became her true treasure. Lily's choice had been right from the start, and it was her courage that gave them all a new beginning.